All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 5 Minutes of Math. And I'm very glad that you guys have joined us again. This is the homework assigned for the evening of Monday, December 4th, 2017. Let's get started. Problem 16 begins with negative 6f plus 13 equals 2f minus 11. First thing I would do with this problem would be to identify my constants, which are plus 13 and negative 11. And I'd also identify my variable terms, which are negative 6f and 2f. All right, so I've highlighted these terms for this problem so you can see exactly what we're doing with them and where we're going to send them so we can solve this problem. So the first thing I decided to do here was to get rid of that 13 on the left-hand side. So we're going to subtract 13 from both sides. All right. So that ends up being negative 6f equals 2f minus 24. That's negative 11 minus 13. All right, so now we have all of our constant terms on the right. The only thing we have left are our f terms. So here we go. We're going to subtract 2f from both sides. That's negative 6f minus 2f equals 2f minus 2f. And what we end up with is negative 8f equals negative 24. Now all my variables are on the left-hand side. Now we have an equation we can solve, and it's just one step. You divide both sides by negative 8. That's the coefficient for negative 8f. And of course, the division property of equality applies here. And you end up with f being positive 3. F is equal to positive 3. That's it. All right, moving on to number 17. All right, so we have 2z minus 31 equals negative 9z plus 24. So again, we identify our constants, which are negative 31 and positive 24. And the other thing we do is identify our variable terms, which are 2z and negative 9z. And those are our variables. So just as what we had to do with the other problem, we're going to have to do some moving around so we can actually solve this thing. So we're going to start off by adding 31 to both sides, and that's going to cancel out that negative 31 on the left, and we have to add that to 24. So 24 plus 31 is 55. We have 2z equals negative 9z plus 55. Now all my constants are on the right-hand side. So if we keep going, we add 9z to both sides to get all of our variable terms on the left. So we can combine our like terms by adding 9z to both sides. So 2z plus 9z equals 11z. 11 times something equals 55. Now all my variables are on the left. And to figure out what that z term is, all we do is divide. And of course, that's the division property of equality. All right, so we end up with z equal to 55 divided by 11, and that number is going to be 5. All right, so moving on to number 18. So here's our problem goal. We got to get that variable by itself. And again, we're looking at this. We only have a pair of variables this time. We only have one constant, so this is going to make our problem a little bit simpler. We have 2.5h on the left and 4h on the right, and those are just our two variable terms. As I said before, there's only one constant, that's negative 15. So to get that variable on the opposite side of that 15, we're going to subtract 2.5h. All right, so we subtract 2.5h from both sides, and we end up with negative 15 equals 1.5h. Now all my variables are on the right, and we have a very simple problem that we can solve with division. So negative 15 equals 1.5h. Divide both sides by 1.5, and we end up with negative 10 equals h. All right, that's it for that problem. Let's move on to the last one for tonight. Again, our goal is to get the variable by itself. Well, look, we have two variables here, one on each side of the equation and only one constant. That's going to simplify this problem. It's going to make it a little bit faster. 21.6 minus d equals 5d. Those are our two variable terms. Now remember, anytime you just see a variable with no coefficient, negative d is the same thing as saying negative 1d. So what we're going to do is add 1d to both sides. So 5d plus 1d is 6d. And that's what you see right here. 21.6 equals 6 times d. All right, now all my variables are on the right. And all we do now is divide by that coefficient. 6 is the coefficient for 6d. So 21.6 divided by 6 is going to be 3.6. All right. So if you all were able to follow along with that and you've written everything down, thank you so much. And hopefully this will help. I will talk to you all in 24 hours. Take care.